Well, welcome back to this little podcast we have with Laura and Sarah. You know, we're doing it at the movies in person, and I'd love to have you join us there. But for now, our experience is going to be some fun questions and some meaningful ones to take us away, Laura.
Oh, wait, that's me. I'm Laura.
You're Laura.
I'm Laura, back again. Welcome.
And I'm Sarah.
Back again.
I think I'm going to start, if you don't mind.
Oh, wow.
My family's a big baseball family.
I know that.
Oh, okay.
Sarah.
So what's your walkout song?
My walkout.
Song, yeah. You're up to bat. What do you...
Here comes Gregory Andrew Lee.
Yeah.
Number
24.
24.
Yeah, definitely number 24.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Luke Recker's number.
Hey, are you related to Luke Recker?
Cousin. First cousin.
First cousin?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hi, Luke.
Hey, Luke.
Sup, Luke?
I haven't talked to him in 20 years, but yeah.
Should I know who that is? Isn't it rude if I don't?
Oh, I've been sitting here
Gregory.
trying to think of my walk-up song.
Yeah.
Which, man, that's... I should have a better answer to that. Probably I like We Are the Champions.
Like what part? Like,
We
But, like-
are the champions.
so like right to the chorus. You're not.
Oh, well,
it's-
there is a good intro to that song, actually.
Yeah, or do you want like the?
Yeah, We Will Rock
That's
You.
We Will Rock You.
But don't they? I mean, Mighty Ducks, don't they go together?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Well, we are
yeah.
the champions.
Yeah.
Champagnes.
Interesting.
I don't
Okay, if who would play you in a movie, and why would it be Owen Wilson?
Wow.
Wow. I get the Owen Wilson thing often enough. I know where that reference comes from. So that's why. Because I think Owen Wilson looks a lot like me.
I
Sounds a lot like
don't
me.
think he looks like you,
Yeah.
but maybe sometimes when you're speaking, maybe.
Yeah. If he can say the word God like God, then he could do it.
You say GAW.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not? When I'm serious, I do.
I know. No, I know. True story that when I first started coming to Suncrest and I would sit all the way in the back and I didn't have great vision and I thought, not a great lead up. I was like, he kind of looks like Justin Timberlake.
Oh, hey.
I did. Yeah. I don't know if it's the eyes.
Wow. Have you heard this before? JT?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, sounds like Owen Wilson, looks like Justin Timberlake.
Can you sing? He did.
Yeah.
Can
Jumps
you,
like Michael Jordan. Runs like Usain Bolt. I don't know.
How does it feel to be God's favorite?
All right.
I think you're up.
All right, it is me. You got a lot of books in your office.
I do.
I've taken a few of those books.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Did you tell me about it, or did you just grab them?
This was when you were like donating.
Okay.
I think I took like 5 and I've read maybe half
Okay.
of a book.
That's above average, Laura. Oh, of a book, not half of the 5 books.
I made it like 20 pages in and I was like, okay, I'll get back to you.
That's why I was giving those away.
Have you read all of those books?
Oh, no. No.
Oh.
Actually, so most of the books in my office these days are reference books. So it'd be like a commentary over all the books of the New Testament. So I pull them out to study a certain section. They're not books you would read from beginning to
That
end.
makes me feel so much better.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure you've still read in this past month more books than I've read in my life. But makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
These days I listen to books more than read them.
That still kind of counts.
I think it's more accessible to a lot of people, including me.
That's fair. You read books?
All the time.
You listen to books?
I will. I wish you could read a book and then just be like, okay, now I'm making dinner, so now I want to listen to it. But they don't have that yet.
Well,
What do you mean they don't have that yet?
Copyrights.
Well, no, you can get an
pending.
audiobook, but it's
Yeah.
not going to go to the place where you read it.
You could just fast
Oh,
forward.
you're
You know
just
what
like
I'm
picking
saying?
up where you left
Yes.
off.
Like,
That's $1 billion idea.
I know.
It's like
Sarah Brown.
DirecTV. You can go in one room and to the
Jeff
other.
Bezos. Why have you not figured this out yet?
I mean, they have audiobooks and they have Kindle, but I've yet to see that.
the
I would love...
the integrated experience.
Yes.
What would you call it?
Can we patent this before it gets out there?
Say patent pending and done.
TM.
Yeah.
What's the last book you read?
I don't know. My husband's like, you don't remember the title of your books? I'm like, no.
What was it
And
about?
my husband
Is
also...
this some romantic novel?
Maybe sometimes, but also typically it's like something that happened to somebody and how they overcame it. You know
Have
what
you
I
read
mean?
my book yet?
Have you written a book? Have you read it, Greg's book?
No.
Is it in his office?
I want to know where's.
Have you read a book? Read a book. Have you written a book?
I haven't written a full book yet.
Oh.
Is there like a
I've written some
manuscript out
chapters.
there?
What's your
in some
pen
books.
name? Oh.
Yeah.
Is it gonna
My
be-
pen name.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I haven't read it.
Andrew Gregory Lee.
It's actually lag.
Beautiful. Would you rather have 20 hobbies or a single passion?
A single passion,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think that's
Is it dancing?
It's not dancing.
Since we're in the movie theme,
Yes.
best movie hero.
So, I like the movie The Fugitive.
Okay, Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford
Tommy Lee
as an
Jones.
actor. Yes, 100%, right? And like that's the kind of story where like he was wronged and he takes on the responsibility to make it right, and he's creative and funny while he does it.
Remember when he like jumps out of the thing and there's like the waterfall?
Oh my
And
goodness.
then Tommy Lee Jones is like,
Yeah.
where'd he go?
It's one of the movies, like I know it's an old movie, but I make my kids watch it and they all agree. It's a
Good
great
movie.
movie.
Great movie. Villain. Best villain. And do you ever root for the villain?
I like complex movies where it's not crystal clear like who the good guy and the bad guy is. But I'm not sure I would say I have ever rooted for the villain.
Like if the villain's sad, or you're like, oh, I hope that it works out.
No, that's just a Laura thing.
Like I'll watch
Yeah.
like Sons of Anarchy and there's this motorcycle gang, and I'm like, I mean, I know they did really bad stuff, but like I hope they're okay.
So this isn't.
no.
So we almost did the movie Wonder for At the Movies. Have you seen this movie? No. So one of the things I love about the movie Wonder is there's a boy and he's getting bullied, but then they show part of the backstory of the bully and why that bully, what happened in that person's life to make them this way. And that's like the complex layers that I like. So you know, the bully seems like the villain until you realize what he went through or she went through, and so.
Yeah. I mean,
This is supposed to be the fun part, though, right? That guy.
I got
kinda
it. But
serious.
you know, Sons of
Yeah.
Anarchy brought us there. Best villain.
I thought I had escaped that question by talking about
Yeah.
other things. Did you see that pivot
Yeah,
there?
she's a really good interviewer.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of TV.
Best villain. Thanos. Why not?
Done.
That's
Done.
it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
When is the last time you had a good cry?
In about 20 minutes, he's gonna.
So we did drop my daughter off at college just a couple weekends ago, and I had to come back on Saturday night. My wife and son stayed until Sunday, but I had to preach. So on my drive home by myself in my van, I had a good cry.
Did you listen to a song? You need like a prompt sometimes to.
So that's an interesting question because I cried for a little while. You know, it wasn't the whole ride. And then I did shift to some music that's like kind of old. You know, most people, I've heard people say like, whatever was your favorite music, like in high school and college, that's kind of your go-to, you come back to. And so I listened to an album from back then.
No, what is it?
So this may be unfamiliar to many, but there was an artist named Rich Mullins. He was a Christian artist. He tragically actually died in an accident very young. But some of the music that he made, Winds of Heaven, Stuff of Earth is the name of the album that I listened to on the way home.
Yeah,
So it's good.
that sounds like I'm ready to cry.
Yeah.
Well, this did get heavy. Okay, let's get into some weird stuff. Horoscopes. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay. Ghost?
Well,
Like, ooh.
okay. So on yay or nay, one question is, are they real or not? The other is, are they good or not?
Well,
Right. So on horoscopes, I'm going nay on they're not real and they're probably not good.
like how can all Pisces find love on the same day? Right?
Yeah, it's
No.
No.
It's not the biggest deal in the world to me, but horoscopes are like fantasy to me. It's like, it's almost like a palm reader that like, they tell you just enough that it can all make
You
sense.
stall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fill in the blanks the way you want to, and then it works. Ghosts, not necessarily good, but they are real.
I mean, I feel like Can you elaborate? Like, is it like?
I thought this was just a short answer, yes or no.
Joke's on you, Greg. It's not. Like, are ghosts?
Have you seen a ghost?
That's a good question. I don't. I feel like I'm not fully prepared to answer this question. In part because, some of the personal experiences you have, I share a lot of my personal experiences, but I don't share all of them, right? And there's some that are like, I may not share because they seem too far out there a little bit. I worry about, why am I saying this on this microphone? I worry about my credibility, like if I start talking about things that seem too weird to people. But sometimes it's also because it was just a deeply personal experience that's like, it's not actually meant to be shared. It's just something that
So it's
happened.
a yes.
Yes. Ish.
Ish. Look at the body language.
I just crossed. I think they've been crossed the whole
You're
time.
cold. He's
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah. I have conversations about the body language. Sometimes it's just comfortable.
Yeah.
So I feel like we are done with the playful questions.
Okay.
Let's get into some serious ones.
Let's do it.
Well, these are not all serious, but
Lighter than the last.
a little lighter.
What are the categories?
Personal questions
And doubt.
and doubt.
Okay, great.
I mean, personal is a little lighter.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You've been a pastor for how long?
27 years at Suncrest, and I started here right after I graduated. So yeah, 27 years.
What would you do if you were not?
There's not really a second thing for me. If I had to do something, I think it would have to be difference making in the world, right? One way or another. So politics interests me and sickens me all at the same time. So some days I think, maybe. Most days not. Teacher, professor.
I'm surprised you didn't say like NBA champion.
Yeah.
I was in the realm of realistic.
Oh. I mean, Ryan Leaks, right?
Yes. Yeah,
That's fair.
You speak a lot of your father.
I do.
What qualities of you come from him?
A lot of qualities. So my father was someone who would say, you have to take responsibility, right? Don't blame others. Don't push responsibility off to others. You take responsibility. And I feel like I saw him do that, and it's a big part of my life. Working hard was a very big value in our family, sometimes actually to a point probably of unhealthiness. And so it's been one of those places where I respect my father and also feel like the healthiest version is not to follow exactly in his footsteps. But without a doubt, the biggest thing that my father modeled was, if you can't change it, let it go. And the ability to not carry worry about things that are out of my control is something that has served me very well my whole life, and he definitely lived that way.
To not carry worry.
Yeah.
And that's
his point was, if you can change it, then go take responsibility and change it. And if you can't change it, don't let it live in your head anymore. So,
what did your dad say when you would leave the house?
I've probably told a story about this before. So there's a few things he would say, but he would say, remember who you are, right? That was the big one. The Lee family name meant something to him. I mean, he would say things like, be careful and such. But when I was young and he would go on a trip, he would assign to me, he'd say, Greg, you're the man of the house. And that's like the responsibility thing, right? Like, hey, while I'm gone, you're the man of the house. Or he would do it to my brother. Or,
Yeah, the remember who you are. We have adopted that to our little ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like you're Wachowski, so you're strong and you're brave and
Yep.
all the things.
Yep.
You have integrity, and then hearing a 5-year-old be like, "I have integrity," she butchers the word.
Sure.
But it's there.
Yeah.
That's good. Who is your current mentor?
So, John Wassam was the founding pastor of Suncrest. I served under him for 7 or 8 years. He and I still stay in touch. So he was like an intense mentor in my 20s and a lifelong mentor, as someone I could always go to. And seek wisdom from and ask questions of. Beyond that, I have a lot of relationships. Like I will pick up the phone and call people and ask for advice. But it depends what category it is. So I have a best friend, Gordon Barker. Pick up the phone and call him. My brothers, a lot of respect for both of them in different areas of life. We'll talk about that sort of thing. My dad passed away in 2015. And since then, my father-in-law has, I think, just perfectly appropriately made himself available when I've wanted that, and that's been much more special over the last season of life.
Is it true that your calves are your most complimented physical feature?
That is 100% true.
Talk about a left turn.
Yeah.
It's true.
Have you seen my calves?
I think I saw them once.
Oh, whatever.
I think I took a picture.
Yeah. This is too long of a story for this podcast. But
Is there a picture
let me
out there?
try. Sarah sent out a picture that were not my calves to the whole staff. They were oddly shaped, uneven calves.
Were they?
Yes.
You like to turn left a lot.
But it was I was the butt of the joke, and it's one of the most hilarious things I've ever experienced. I have mad respect for Sarah for doing it.
Thank you.
So,
What is the last gift that you've given somebody?
I bought my daughter and her roommate Chipotle last night.
Boom.
Oh, that's so nice.
That is
Yeah.
nice.
Try not to start a habit, but also be nice and gracious. So.
Was it because it's a holiday?
Abby has always had me tied around her little finger. It's mostly because she asked, and I said yes again.
You just got to ask.
So that's true.
There you go.
Spiritual leadership is asking.
So are Sarah and I going to get Chipotle after this?
Yeah. I'm buying.
If anything, we owe you Chipotle for this. What is the biggest misconception of Greg Lee?
So let me talk while I think about that for a second. I don't think there are a lot of misconceptions of me. And that's kind of an important thing to me because I said earlier, I don't reveal everything about my life to the public, but I do try to put enough of it on display that's real, right? I don't want there to be misconceptions. I think, I don't know.
Is it the left calf? That's the...
I don't know. Mitch, what's the biggest misconception about Greg Lee? I don't know. I'm sensitive to being misinterpreted, not based on people's misinterpretation of me, but by my category. So some people think pastors are a certain way, or especially pastors of large churches are a certain way. So that does bother me when people kind of categorize something and it's not true of me.
Yeah.
But, everyone knows I don't drive some fancy car. I drive a van with 310,000 miles on it. So I try to help people understand where they might misconceive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can sing the Beastie Boys?
That is true.
That a secret? Is that a secret?
Now, here's a little story I like to tell about three bad brothers you know so well. It started way back in history with that rapping MC and me, Mike D.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Misconception, right? Who would have thought?
Well,
Master
it's
MC.
It's not like I'm going to say it's not my proudest moment, but I just kind of
You have to
stepped
lean
into
into
it.
I'm really proud.
Right? Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's not a song you should recommend to your children. That's off limits.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a rating on this podcast now, I think.
What is your proudest moment? And I would like to say, what is your proudest moment as a pastor? But also, what is your proudest moment as a father?
So my proudest moment as a pastor, and there's a lot I could point to, but I'll say, you mentioned you were baptized on one of the weekends where it was open baptisms, right? Where I don't know if anybody's coming up to get baptized. I preach a message and see what happens. Well, the very, very first time we did that, we had no idea what to expect. I'm like, are 5 people going to get up, or 10 people? And it was like 60 people, like the first time. And I I of course was proud that many people were baptized. Like, that's a beautiful thing for our church to experience. But for me, I was proud that I stepped into something not knowing how it would turn out, right? As much as anyone, I do like to engineer things and be like, well, if I do this and this and this, then we'll get this. But it's weird to say I was proud of going for it and trusting the results to God, right? Where it could have been embarrassing. Like, what if I stand up there and be like, anyone can come and nobody comes? Like,
You, front row.
that's a real risk, but it also makes you a better preacher if you live on the tension of that a little bit. So that'd be my pastor answer. As a dad, I don't know. I'll say this. I have 3 older kids, and then, a 5-year-old. And within the last 18 months, each of my 3 older kids has independently said to me something like, Dad, my faith may not be the same as yours, but I know yours is real.
Oh.
Right? That there was a sense of like, I always think, people put on masks all the time, of course. It's easy to do. I try not to. I try to be honest. But it's the people who are closest to you who really know who you are. I could put on a mask in front of Suncrest, but I can't put on a mask in front of my kids. And so for each of them to affirm the sincerity of my faith and the way they experience it, even if they don't quite experience the exact same thing, that was kind of 3 moments. But they stacked up next to each other, in a season where I kind of needed it, right? And I think that's the grace of God in my life.
That's a good moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, for them to see that and like just for it to be affirmed that they get to see who you are 100% and you're who you want to be. So that's cool.
Yep.
Is it my turn, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. This is 2-parter.
Okay.
About time.
Yeah.
Start writing it down, please.
Greg, what is the worst part of your job? Worst.
darkness run for cover, but the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. I believe in signs and wonders, I have resurrection power. Still the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. Oh, my praise belongs to you forever. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'll testify. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Come together, sons and daughters, bought with blood This is my testimony. Oh, I'm alive. This is my testimony. From death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify. By Jesus Christ the righteous, I'll testify. This is my testimony. This is my testimony.
Every week, we pause everything we do to focus on the love of Jesus during a time we call communion. It's where, in person, we take bread and juice, but online or on demand, take whatever food and drink you have available to represent Jesus' body and his blood that was broken and poured out for each of us to know what real love and real life could look like. So, if you're watching this today and you're wanting to participate in communion with us, go ahead and find that food and drink now. But if you are watching this and you wouldn't define yourself as someone who follows Jesus, I'm glad you've made it to this part in our video. I want you to know everything we do is geared for you. It's geared for you to be able to be safe in exploring what it is you believe and what real life and real faith could look like for you as well. So I'm glad you're watching, and I hope you feel free to ask your questions right here at Suncrest when you're comfortable. So I'm going to put a timer and some scripture on the screen here in a moment. If you're going to participate in communion, you can do that at any time during that moment. If you're just experiencing this with us and you don't define yourself as a follower of Jesus, go ahead and use that time to reflect on what you've heard so far. Thanks for tuning in on this special podcast. We have one more week of this and one more week of At the Movies in person. If you'd like to learn more details about that, you can head to suncrest.org to learn more. So I hope we'll see you again next week, and I hope we'll see you in person sometime soon, potentially even next week, as we wrap up At the Movies together. Bye now.